4 races into the 2026 Formula One season, and the sport's most dominant team of the last decade is sitting 6th in the Constructors' Championship. Max Verstappen, a 4-time world champion who spent the last several years rewriting the record books, is 9th in the driver's standings with just 12 points. This is not a slump. This is a crisis, and the entire Formula One world is watching to see whether the upgrade package Red Bull assembled across the 5-week enforced break, tested in secret at Silverstone on April 22nd with Verstappen behind the wheel, is actually going to change things at the Miami Grand Prix, or whether it will be another weekend where the 4-time champion watches the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli and George Russell disappear into the distance. Today, we are breaking down everything. What went wrong in the first 3 races, what the Silverstone filming day revealed about the RB22 upgrades, what the Macarena wing concept means and why it could be a genuine step forward, the brutal contract clause hanging over Verstappen's head, and why Miami is being described across the entire paddock as the start of a new championship. The numbers are genuinely shocking when you say them out loud for a team that has been this dominant for this long. Red Bull sits 6th in the Constructors' Championship with just 16 points. Verstappen's meager tally of 12, alongside Hadjar's 4, has left the 4-time champion languishing in 9th, while his teammate occupies 12th. Verstappen currently sits behind both McLaren drivers, both Ferrari drivers, both Mercedes drivers, and even behind Ollie Bearman of Haas and Pierre Gasly of Alpine, the farthest down the standings he has been before his first world title. Meanwhile, Kimi Antonelli leads the championship with 72 points, ahead of George Russell on 63, with Leclerc 3rd and Lewis Hamilton 4th, before a bigger gap back to reigning champion Lando Norris in 5th. The team that won 4 consecutive Constructors' Championships coming into 2026 is closer to the back of the midfield than the front. Here is the complicated part of the Red Bull 2026 story. The problem is not the power unit. When Red Bull announced they were building their own engine for 2026, the immediate assumption was that the RBPT unit would be the weak link. Pre-season testing suggested otherwise. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff expressed surprise publicly, saying the Red Bull powertrain was nearly 1 second quicker in a straight line than the rest of the field. Dutch racing driver Tom Coronel said on the Racing News 365 podcast that the engine is 100% not the problem. The problem is the chassis. One of the biggest problems has been the weight of the car. Some suggest it is 10 to 20 kilograms overweight. In Formula One, that is a devastating deficit. Every kilogram above the minimum hurts cornering, braking, tire wear, and straight-line performance across every single lap of a race distance. Both Verstappen and Hadjar reported persistent balance issues that proved difficult to resolve despite extensive setup changes. The car's unpredictability limited performance gains and left the team searching for answers. Red Bull used a filming day at Silverstone to trial a series of aerodynamic changes ahead of Miami. Verstappen was the only driver to take the wheel. Leaked photographs showed a car that had changed in several meaningful areas. The front wing end plates now carry winglet elements that most rivals have run since the season opened in Australia, while the side pods have been redesigned with a sharper kink replacing the original gradually curving bodywork. Most significantly, Red Bull appeared to be running their interpretation of the Macarena rear wing concept, a 270-degree rotating design that generates controlled lift on straights to reduce drag while maintaining downforce through corners. Reports suggest the package could deliver a straight-line speed gain of 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Ferrari trialed the concept first earlier this season. Red Bull adopting their own version signals they have identified it as a genuine performance avenue rather than an experiment. Team principal Laurent Mekies was careful about expectations, saying Miami does not mean they arrive and have solved everything as a miracle. What he wants is a car where the drivers can push again, but he was emphatic about the atmosphere inside Milton Keynes, saying there is fire in every single department and the team is in full attack mode. Verstappen's contract contains a release clause that could be activated from August if he is not in the top 2 in the championship. With the standings where they are right now, that clause is not theoretical. It is a live possibility, shaping every conversation about his future. And Miami is a sprint weekend. One practice session, sprint qualifying, sprint race, Grand Prix qualifying, Grand Prix. That compressed format means almost no time to properly evaluate and dial in the new package before points start being scored. It's the highest pressure environment imaginable for introducing major new components to a car that has been struggling with fundamental issues all season. Every team on the grid is bringing significant updates to Florida. Ferrari team principal Frederic Vasseur said it would be like another start to the season, that everyone will bring new upgrades to Miami and a new championship will effectively begin. McLaren boss Andrea Stella described their incoming package as effectively a completely new car, saying the team is very determined to get back into the game. Mercedes arrived with the championship lead and every reason to extend it. For Red Bull and Verstappen, the stakes could not be clearer. A strong Miami showing, even a genuine podium fight, even a move back into the top 5 in the standings, resets the narrative and buys time for the development program to continue delivering. A bad weekend, and the questions about Verstappen's future and Red Bull's ability to compete in this new era grow louder in ways that become very difficult to manage. Sources at Red Bull suggest a possible breakthrough in testing validation on track compared to the simulator, but the team has had situations before where simulation data suggested progress that did not materialize in competition. Miami will provide the first real answers. Not a filming day, not internal data, the actual racetrack under pressure against the best teams in the world. The Red Bull that dominated this sport for 4 years is not gone. The engine is strong. The talent is still there. The factory is burning with urgency. But right now, the gap between where they are and where they need to be is real. And Miami is the first genuine test of whether the recovery has actually begun. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think the Red Bull upgrades are enough to get Verstappen back into the points fight at Miami? And is the championship already over before it has really started? Subscribe to NASCAR Report for more motorsport coverage every single week. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you at Miami.